Hey everyone! We are working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy the content and it is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button right now as we proceed. Subscribe to this channel right now and brace yourself, because on the very day that Blue Jays spring training baseball officially kicks off and the energy across the fanbase is at its absolute peak, a bombshell update has dropped out of nowhere that completely reshapes the bullpen picture heading into this season and demands an immediate, honest conversation about what this organization needs to do next. We came into today expecting excitement, optimism, and the pure joy of watching baseball return to our lives. And all of that is still very much present. But sitting right alongside it now is a genuinely concerning update that no one predicted, that no one had prepared for, and that has significant implications for how this Blue Jays roster is constructed between now and opening day. Because Yimi Garcia, the veteran reliever who was supposed to be a foundational piece of John Schneider's bullpen plan, has just confirmed that he is 100% not going to be ready for opening day. Read that again. 100%. Not a maybe. Not a we will monitor the situation. 100% not ready. And the fact that he has not yet thrown off a mound makes the timeline even more uncertain than those words already suggest. So let us break this down completely, discuss what it means for the roster, and talk about exactly what Ross Atkins needs to do about it. Let us start by acknowledging what Yimi Garcia actually is to this bullpen when he is healthy, because the stakes here only make sense when you understand what the Blue Jays are potentially missing. This is a pitcher who can generate genuine velocity, who has delivered elite stretches of performance across his time splitting between Toronto and Seattle, and who was expected to be one of the high-leverage anchors that gives John Schneider real options in the late innings of close baseball games. In the modern AL East, where you are going to war against the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Orioles, and the Rays week after brutal week, having a reliable, experienced, high-leverage bullpen arm is not a luxury. It is survival equipment. And right now, the Blue Jays are being told that piece of equipment is not going to be available on day one. Garcia himself said he feels good and feels better than last season, which is at least a positive indicator about the direction of his recovery, but the combination of not yet throwing off a mound and the 100% not ready confirmation means the timeline for his return carries genuine uncertainty that the organization now has to plan around explicitly rather than hope away quietly. The honest look at the current bullpen depth makes this update sting even more when you examine it clearly. Brian Baker, Trevor Richards, Tim Meza. These are the names outside of the established core that are going to be asked to fill significant roles. John Schneider has publicly described his club as pretty set overall while acknowledging there is still plenty to figure out over the 30 spring training games ahead. But pretty set is a very different statement when one of your primary bullpen pieces is confirmed unavailable for the season opener and the depth behind him carries genuine questions about big league readiness and high-leverage reliability. Outside of Jordan Romano, Yimi Garcia when healthy, and Eric Swanson, the Blue Jays bullpen has question marks stacked on top of question marks. And now one of the names that was supposed to provide answers has temporarily become another question. The internal competition continues, as Thomas Hall noted, but internal competition for bullpen spots is only valuable if the players competing are capable of performing at the level the situation demands. When you are chasing a championship in the American League East, you cannot afford to simply hope that the competition shakes out in your favor. This is precisely the moment where the Danny Coulombe conversation that we have been making the case for on this channel becomes not just logical but genuinely urgent. The 36-year-old left-handed specialist who has posted sub-250 ERA numbers across 3 consecutive seasons, who dominates left-handed hitters with a career opposing OPS of just .596, and who would cost approximately $4.3 million on a one-year deal is sitting and signed on the open market right now. The Blue Jays need a reliable bullpen arm. A reliable bullpen arm is available for a price that represents almost nothing in the context of modern baseball contracts. The connection between those two facts has never been more obvious than it is today. But Coulombe is not the only name worth discussing in this suddenly urgent bullpen context. The possibility of going into the trade market and targeting a Garrett Cleavinger type from Tampa Bay, a more aggressive and more expensive solution than a simple free agent signing, is now on the table in a way that it perhaps was not before this morning's Garcia news dropped. Ross Atkins himself has repeatedly stated throughout this offseason that the organization is open to further acquisitions, that they are thinking about ways of structuring the 40-man and 26-man rosters and beyond, and that they are never closing the door on talent. Those words were always reassuring. Today, with Yimi Garcia's timeline officially uncertain, they are also instructions. Now let us balance all of this with the genuinely positive news that arrived alongside the difficult Garcia update, because the full picture of this Blue Jays roster heading into spring training is not uniformly concerning. Shane Bieber, the veteran starter whose health status has been the subject of careful monitoring and cautious optimism throughout the offseason, has produced an encouraging update from John Schneider that deserves proper celebration. Bieber is feeling good. He is out to throwing at 120 feet and is hoping to be progressing further within the next 1 to 2 weeks. Schneider described him as not that far behind, and when you contextualize that description against the expectations that surrounded his return, it actually represents significantly better news than many had privately feared. A healthy Shane Bieber in a starting rotation that already features Kevin Gausman and Dylan Cease creates a top three that is genuinely formidable by any standard in the American League. Having him available even a month into the season rather than the full duration of spring changes the calculus of the rotation dramatically. The depth piece that fills his spot while he ramps up, likely Cody Ponce, who is interesting enough in his own right after pitching 180 innings overseas last year, has his own story to write this spring. But the knowledge that Bieber is coming and coming sooner than feared is a genuine counterweight to the Garcia anxiety, and it matters enormously for the overall health of this pitching staff. The position player picture, meanwhile, is taking shape in genuinely exciting ways that the spring training games starting today are going to begin illuminating for everyone. Kazuma Okamoto's debut in a Blue Jays uniform is happening right now, and everything coming out of camp suggests he has settled in with a comfort and confidence that the organization is thrilled to see. George Springer has been spending significant daily time with him in the hitting group. John Schneider has been present and engaged throughout his early workouts. The organizational investment in his transition is visible and deliberate, and the early returns, including the footage of him simply looking right at home in a Blue Jays uniform, are encouraging for a fan base that has been waiting all winter to see what this man can do. He is hitting with the regulars. He is being treated as an everyday player from day one. And the moonshot potential with his pull-heavy approach at a ballpark like Rogers Center is a storyline that spring training is going to develop beautifully over the next several weeks. Andrés Jiménez's comments about his transition to shortstop added another layer of depth to the infield picture, and his humility in describing the move, talking about the superstars who play the position and framing his own contribution purely in terms of what the team needed, is a reminder of exactly why this organization values his presence beyond the defensive metrics. The infield defense this Blue Jays team projects to play is genuinely elite at multiple positions simultaneously. Okamoto at third, Jimenez at short, Ernie Clement at second, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at first creates a defensive alignment that opposing base runners are going to respect deeply. Add Dan Jansen as the best defensive center fielder in baseball and Jesus Sanchez as an underrated defensive contributor in left field, and you have a defensive infrastructure capable of saving runs in enormous quantities over the course of a 162-game season. Defense wins championships. This Blue Jays team has it in abundance. The spring training story is only beginning. 30 games of evaluation lie ahead. Leo Jimenez and Davis Schneider have spots to compete for. The Max Scherzer conversation has not concluded following Ben Nicholson-Smith's report that talks have gotten serious. The bullpen requires immediate attention in the wake of the Garcia news. And Kazuma Okamoto is about to show the baseball world for the first time what he looks like in a Blue Jays uniform against major league competition. This is everything spring training is supposed to be, full of possibility, full of competition, full of answers waiting to be discovered, and occasionally full of the kind of unexpected updates that force everyone to recalibrate. The Blue Jays are a championship-caliber team in a championship window. The Garcia news is a problem. Problems are solvable. Ross Atkins has tools. The market has options. And this organization has shown all off-season that it will not simply accept a limitation when a solution exists. Now it is your turn to weigh in. On a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you about the Yimi Garcia news and its impact on the bullpen? Do you want to see the Blue Jays go back to the market immediately and sign Danny Coulombe or pursue a more aggressive trade option? And how excited are you to watch Kazuma Okamoto's spring training debut today? Drop every thought you have in the comments section right now because this conversation is exactly what game day is for. Smash that like button, share this video with every Blue Jays fan you know, and subscribe to this channel if you have not already because we are covering every single development this spring training every single day. Baseball is back.